All right, so I just watched the movie Reminiscence, and it brought up a lot of feelings here, and just want to talk about them here. Again, I'm documenting my existence or beginning my testimony. Uh, that movie relates to so much of our true life, and I just found out. I had to look up the writer and creator of it, Lisa Joy, and coming to find out she's attached to a co-writer as well for Westworld, which were two things that really tell you about our existence. Again, for those that don't know me, I am a human, but again, we should not have a name for what we are. There's no name. It's offensive, and if you knew that, you'd be offended as well. Again, you're not black, you're not white. I mean, those things are impossible to be. You just classified yourself as that, and it's got you trapped. Uh, but the movie I just watched, Reminiscing, was about love, uh, addiction. They talk about they got dementia in there, or Alzheimer's, whatever one. Excuse me. Uh, it touches justice and uh, those type of things there. But the movie was actually really good. Now you can debate about uh, whether or not you liked how the movie was, edited out or portrayed. There's definitely some things in there that, as a just as the movie, you might not like. You might have a preference for. There were definitely some things I didn't enjoy in it, but not too many. Just a few scenes that I thought were out of place and not well, not really well done. But uh, but that's just a personal opinion. But the movie in general tells you about life and what happens with you and within your life. Because again, we're human, okay, we're humans that communicate through sound, not words. Uh, and if you think that sounds crazy, then you wouldn't relate to pretty much anything else I would say. Uh, because I'm on the journey to fight for our humanity. It's even beyond that, but I have to use words that you can relate to, like humanity. That way, everybody can relate to humanity. Because for those that don't know, oh, it also touches on class. That movie, sidetrack right there. It touches on class. Basically, everything that's going on in the world now, just like Game of Thrones. Everybody like, wow, what a great show. I'm like, motherfucker, that's what's going on right now. you know, The Walking Dead. Those are all true, based off of truth. You know, and now again, we if, like with any movie, how you portray that truth is different. In Walking Dead, they do it through zombies. But the zombies reference the dead, and the dead will be most of the people that I'm speaking to now. You're zombies. If all you want to do is go to work and party and be on social media. I mean, if that's what your life is, and no disrespect to it, because there's some beautiful things in death, but you would be considered dead in the context of the Walking Dead, which I'm speaking about, referencing right now, just a moment ago. Uh, the dead uh, walk around mindlessly and just in their own little world, never caring. Well, I'm sure they care, but they just can't see past their own death, so to speak. It's almost like some live in heaven and some of you are living in hell, but it's almost one of those things like if you don't know, it doesn't hurt you, but it doesn't hurt you, but it hurts everyone else. because it allows us to be controlled in a way that you don't even know you're being controlled because you do it willingly. You know, where we all become slaves, but we just get to pick our own cotton fields. No metaphor there. See, I'm all off track now. So again, if you've seen any previous videos or even on my other page, that you'd understand what I was talking about. So, but I'm starting over here. I got to freestyle it. Previously on other videos, I would write them out and try to be consistent about what I speak of. But now I have to practice just freestyling my thoughts off the top of my head, being able to put them together. And sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But it's a work in progress. But I have to be able to freestyle for other things. I cannot rely on carrying around books and notebooks and waiting until a specific conversation I'm getting to and break it out. I know enough about pretty much a little bit about everything. Again, I awakened probably in 2012, I believe. So, not many years ago. As far as, when you guys say woke, you're woke. You're not woke. It just sounds good. It sounds like, but when you can filter throughout all the bullshit that has happened to you and the bullshit, playing the life game, because all we're doing is playing the life game, and if you're committed to playing the life game, you would be a zombie, considered a zombie, or the dead, even the dead within the Bible. I can explain the Bible to anyone, and I don't know, I maybe know one verse verbatim off the top of my head of the whole entire Bible, and I can have a debate with any biblical scholar on this planet because I would be considered truly woke. Again, I'm not saying those type of things to put anyone down, just speaking for what it is. And still talking about the Bible. See, all right, I'll try to explain this here. If see, what we are is the same. Every single one of us. If you ever watch this video or you ever, any human that you see, we are the same. And, as far as internally, our outer, our skin colors are different. Our cultures are different. Our languages are different, but that still doesn't make us different. As a foundation, we are a human that speaks a language that was cultured, and so on and so on and so on. So when you peel all the layers back, you can clearly see what we are, and what we are has a different. They explain in the Bible too, as well. Between God and man. God is what we are. Man is how we walk around in this world to live in. And, because otherwise we'd still be, eating off, just running around terrorizing each other and, we'd be way more violent than we are right now. And you can see how wildlife is. Kill or be killed and those type of things. Only the strongest survive. We've come a long way and figured out ways how to subdue the human. It's through magic, so to speak. Again, trickery. In a lot of cases, it's for our own good. Because I don't know what would happen if everybody awakened and truly knew what was going on. So many movies are like, they give you the truth. So that means, okay, I know I'm not the only one that's awake. So I'm not the only one, because a lot of movies, they are exactly in how based off of what we are and how we're living. But what we have lost for a lot of us is our connection to what's next. And that's almost impossible to reconnect with for some, because again, if you saw another species, your instincts would be to be afraid, to want to kill it, or to want to imprison it. You wouldn't have you would have no instincts of, okay, where do I fit in this cycle? Because you're all in a cycle of life, but they just tricked you. Well, tricked you. I'm not going to say tricked. A lot of things we have been tricked about, but and we've been used uh, because of our ignorance. That's all. And but now we're in a cycle where we believe we're making our own choices, and you're really not. None of you are making your own choices. None that I've met, at least not at this level. Um, I understand all the markets. I understand how to get rich. I understand, the paths I need to take. Uh, you know, everything's laid out in the Bible, and I'm sure everything's laid out in the Quran as well. But I don't speak Arabic, and I know this has been translated. But you get to a point where you're done. You're done with all the studying. You're done with all the research. You're done with all of that. You can't. Your mind can't take but so much information, and you gotta protect yourself from a lot of the truth, because once you realize the truth of what's going on, you become trapped. If you don't, fit into the society, a certain part of society, you become very limited. Based off of money. But money's a perfect example of how fake your life is, or our lives are. Because it's a piece of paper, but if you have a certain amount of money, it allows you to feel better about yourself, and those type of things. Just like when you're an American, because of what we have in America, it allows us to feel a certain way about ourselves, and demand and be entitled to certain things. And that's at the, even at the largest scale. America is an experiment for us humans to see if we can learn to, you know, uh, self police ourselves, control ourselves within a society. If you're an American, then you know that it's not like this everywhere else in the world. You don't we don't have They don't have the options that we have. They don't have the protections that we have as living under the laws of the land or the laws of God. Again, what we are at one time was called God. It is called Allah. It's called Yahweh. You and we, Yahweh. But so again, we're in year 2021 right now. And we started before that, but if we're at 2021, if you just go back to year zero, what we were at year zero, we still are right now. But we've been evolving on what we are able to accomplish and able to do, and the levels of our minds that we can, believe in things that we can believe and accomplish and do and do. Keep in mind, we started out in the woods, hunters and gatherers. There wasn't no homes. There's no televisions, no technology, none of that stuff. That's where we started. And again, what we are now, we were then. We made it to this point before as a society, as you could tell by, the pyramids and crop circles, things like that. Um, we've made it to this level of life, and there's more, but we're so blinded. And just think, if you were our creator and you see your species that can't even get along with each other based on skin color, culture, and those things, race, creed, all those type of things that's in the law, things that's within the law, the laws of humanity. Our Constitution is like protects our human rights. you know uh, they say civil rights, but there are human rights, and there's no other place in the world that it's demanded that we protect our human rights, because without that, you know we'd be North Korea. I mean, If you got, I don't have to go on and go on a whole sidebar topic about North Korea, but I mean, I'm capable. Uh, but there's not one American that would want to live in North Korea under that type of rule. I mean, I can't imagine. I imagine the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong Un, that gentleman. He's probably just as dead as ever. There's just no way he's alive completely. He's not woke. Because why? Because or unless he's a prisoner himself, there's just no way he would treat people like that. But the people around him he might be a prisoner himself. Because if you told everyone the truth, like, I'll just use America. Again, I'll use the example of if for America, I would tell you Americans, if every single human being in America was white, you would still have the same exact problems. But since they separated us into black and white, which color is not a race, they made it easy to blame certain cultures. It's like, but you see the idiocy of that and the hypocrisy of it. You realize, okay, this is definitely done on purpose, because color is not a race. And I'll say this to conservatives, that black people are only 13% of the country, and there's just no way 13% of the country can be causing all of your problems. If we got rid of all the black people in the country, you would have the same issues, except now you would know who to blame. You would hold those people accountable to our human rights. But because you believe you're a white man or woman, or you believe that by the time you get to human, you probably have 10 different things. You're a white Republican conservative from Wisconsin, or I'll use Georgia where I'm at. I can't believe I ended up in the South being from New York. But by the time you realize what you are, it's just too much to go through, and so many people never figure it out, or if they do, by the time they do, they're too old. Once you're sitting around, you're not bound by time and trapped by time and working with how many ever hours a week, only having the weekends off, and then having time for you have very little time to focus on yourself, to understand yourself, so that you truly know how to approach life or play the life game, or how to maneuver through the matrix. I use a lot of movie references because that's what's people can relate to, depending, and even some people don't even understand the Matrix, the movie. Just like, I don't know if people would, they'll just look at even the Marvel movies. I mean, it's like so true. I mean, the Infinity Stones and all of those type of things, and the characters. I mean, it's like real life. Even though it's in the form of fantasy, it's still based off of real life. And most of the movies are based off of the stories in the Bible, because the Bible is our owner's manual, so to speak, as is the Quran and probably many other religious texts. They're our owner's manual. They teach you how to use this, because you are a self-sustaining unit that maneuvers around in society, but you have to control yourself. And how do you control yourself? How do you get to feel certain things? Because our mind controls our body and heals it, and also sicknesses it, unless you introduce certain viruses or certain things into it. Your mind itself will heal and keep your body healthy. Those are just facts. Those are the type of things that can't be debated, but just some will debate it, because they don't know. I mean, if you knew what these industries are doing to you, you guys would rebel and want to kill everyone. But we need to get to a point right now where we just understand what's going on and then implement forgiveness and just have to be able to settle with, okay, we know what you have done, but okay, now we just cut it out. We can't go back looking for revenge. That now we can go off into talking about class and all those other type of things, but I have to use things like rich and poor and the top 1%. But there's so many movies that just hit on it. Right now, so many movies are going through my mind. If you ever want to sit down and talk about how your mind works, I'd be able to show you. Especially through the Bible. What they talk about Simon and Simon, it's a Psi man, psychology man. One that understands exactly how we work. Because if you truly understand yourself, then you understand every single other person on this planet. And if you have the terminology properly that you can use, or know the language, then there's just nobody I can't relate to on this planet and be able to tell them what's wrong with themselves. It's my doggy. And all right. Well, I have to cut this one short, but I'll be back. Continuing my testimony. Love y'all. Talk to you soon. Hope I don't get killed by telling the truth, because people that tell the truth always end up dead. So talk to you soon.